welcome you to the podcast.
Oh.
Jules Miller, welcome.
Hello.
We've this has been long in the making, kind of.
I've just denied it every time because I'm scared.
Nah, we've
I'm taking one for the team.
We've just been joking about it, and then finally we decided to full send on it.
I'm being nice and taking
Make
one
it
for the
official.
team, I guess. Maybe.
Take one for the team. Who's the team? Society.
Yeah.
Society's your team.
Work stories.
Yeah. What's it like working for Gilbert?
Oh, I'll tell you the
Gilbert.
story of last night, which I kind of already mentioned, but there's more to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, there was this note that was found by the closers that was saying that someone was being, like, targeted because they had, like, schizophrenia or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and how they target the mentally ill people and all this stuff. And then me and Janae looked at the security footage today, and it was these two teenage girls who left it on a counter. And then this couple came up to read the note, and they just left it there and didn't say anything.
I'm not sure which is more concerning, the two kids who wrote it or the couple who was like...
But then I don't understand because it was bad handwriting, too.
Wait, so what was the point of it? Were they like... They didn't even say anything in the note,
They were like, they're trying to experiment on me. My brother died because he was dehydrated.
But like, what did they say? Did it just end like super random?
It was signed PB. I don't know what that means.
But did it like, you know, like when some people write like a suicide note or a death note, it's like, I'm gonna kill that person or I'm gonna do something. But did it end on anything or not? I'm
trying to remember. It was just something like, oh, I try to avoid them when I can and only respond when I need to or something, so I don't go insane.
Do you think it was just like those two girls just like screwing around?
I don't know. You know, everything happens at the reg, so like I wouldn't be surprised if it was serious. You know, because like last week we got the email about the potential kidnappers and...
Oh, yeah. Why is the rec a hot spot for... It's in like Gilbert. It's not even...
it's not
even a bad part of Gilbert.
It's in Gilbert. Yeah, we have an incident report book too of like all the times people have been approached by creepy men or like random things happen.
I feel like you're in that notebook like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Or like the guy who brought the sword into the rec center, just like strapped on his back.
Like what, like a pair of katanas or like what type of sword?
Katanas, yeah.
Oh.
Sword story from work.
Really?
Yeah, the machete guy.
Oh.
Interesting. No one can hear you, Kel, because you're not on the audio.
Yeah.
But...
he just walked into the workplace, you know, just katana strapped on his back, and then, yeah, like the one time I thought me and Michael were gonna get like attacked by that gang, you know, remember?
Yeah.
Because they're wearing ski masks, and I was like, oh no, this is it for me.
Did you guys let them in?
They like walked in. It's not like we can lock the doors.
Right, but like, were they allowed to stay?
Oh yeah, because we can't kick anyone out unless like
they're causing harm or potentially having a weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was like the child molester a month ago trying to lead kids into the bathroom.
Yeah, what the heck?
And he had an ankle monitor on that he had wrapped up. And he'd come like every day to play pool.
Sheesh.
But then no one did anything about it. So.
Well, note to self, public spaces are hotspots for crime.
Yeah, note to self, don't work at Freestone Rec Center. It's okay, I'm trying to leave. Anytime I tell my friends something that happens, they're like, get a new job right now.
You just actually clip this part and send it to your bosses? You don't actually
this is my 2 weeks. This is me putting in my 2 weeks.
So you want to jump on that with your job too?
Absolutely.
Can we both just quit our jobs?
Yes.
I mean, I'll get a new job because I'm trying to do the phlebotomist thing. So.
Yeah. Are you excited for the phlebotomist?
Wait, what?
Are you what?
I'll just nanny.
Oh, you're just gonna nanny?
I'll just find some random kids.
I hate I hate babysitting. Like, it, like, makes me want to die. Well, that's dramatic.
Yeah.
I just get bored really easily.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of, well, I like kids.
Matt doesn't like kids.
No, I do like kids. I do like children. I just don't like...
He's like, I just don't like kids.
I just don't...
He's like my potential kids that I won't have because I don't like.
Oh, yeah. I just don't like, you know... the idea of having a bunch of your own children that you have to take care of 24/7 sounds like a lot.
Because now you're responsible for them?
Yeah. They're like now your problem.
Well, that's why you don't have...
But they're also a joy, so I hear.
Yeah.
At times.
That's why you don't have 10 kids or 8 kids like some people do. You have like 2 or 3 or 4.
See, I feel like if I get like 2 or 3, I have to have 4.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like I have to even it out.
I feel like you can't just have 1 because then they're socially awkward and a spoiled brat.
True. Unless you teach them
Unless you
right.
raise them right. But, like, I feel like they'll still have those tendencies in a way.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to sharing things with other people.
True.
You
I
know?
feel like I'd want to, at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, that's a good number.
But then also, I feel like I'm not doing my duty to society, so I gotta get at least 4.
You gotta populate the earth.
Yeah.
Like God says to do.
Yeah. I feel like 4 is nice, but only because that's what my parents had. Or have.
Okay.
They still have 4. None of them are.
Had
4. My parents had 4.
News to me.
Yeah. We actually don't have a sister named Megan. She just...
You banished her to Idaho.
Yeah, bruh.
Yeah, we banished her.
When's Shelly being banished next?
Tuesday.
Next week. Tuesday.
Oh, not being planned. Does she know?
No, it's actually... We're having a party.
You just ship her.
Shelly's banishment party. Come. Tuesday.
Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Tuesday's the launch. We send her off.
Oh my gosh, you know how like at weddings
Send her off at 7.
they'll tie the things to the
Dance
back of the
parties
car.
at 8.
You know how they'll like tie things on the back of the car or whatever? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
married? We'll do
Like
that
the
for
cans.
Shelly, yeah.
Banished.
Bro, knowing our luck, we'd tie like the cans to it. Shelly would drive off and the can would like kickflip up into the window and break it.
She'd use the cans to can her vegetables.
Oh, facts.
Please write on the back, just banished.
Just banished. Coming back, never.
That's so funny. Hashtag running away from my family. Oh my gosh.
The best part is when, and just for everyone listening, Shelly's my mother.
Oh,
but
maybe I shouldn't call her Shelly.
No, you're fine. That's what I call her. But which she also doesn't like. That was the funniest thing.
Yeah, you call your dad Rusty and your mom Shelly.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing. Like, because you get some people who don't like being called by their by their title, like mom, dad, or whatever, or uncle and aunt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever met those parents who are like, don't call me mom and dad, call me like Sue
That's
or Dan?
strange.
You know.
If you do that, you're strange.
No, I've met some of that. Like, want to be like the cool parents. Yeah, like have you
Want
ever
to be
met
the
those?
cool parents?
Yeah, have you ever met the cool parents?
No, don't call me
No.
mom. Call me friend.
That's
feel
like that's like a parent who wants to still be a teenager
Yeah,
and want to be
that's
cool.
not. I don't think that's a good parent.
Yeah.
Oh, I have.
Yeah. But eventually, oh my gosh, guys. But eventually, I think like I told my mom because like now I call her Shelly and I call him Rusty, but that's because I've worked for them for like 5-6 years.
I guess you have to refer to her. Yeah.
She
In,
doesn't like
professional
it. She
setting.
wanted me to call her Shelly like or mom in office, and I was like, that ain't happening. Sorry, Shelly. No.
Now you just refer to them as that.
Well, it's just weird. Like, you know, you're in the office. Hey, mom. You know, it's just kind of weird. Yeah, it's just kind of weird.
Come here, sweetheart.
Feels wrong.
Don't call me that.
Feels unprofessional. You know.
It is unfair.
It's okay. I agree with your dad on the pet name thing.
I don't have an issue with it. I like pet names.
I think it's like, I don't know.
What's the ickiest pet name? Look that up, Kel.
Oh gosh.
I'm sure there's got to be a poll on the
Hold on,
ickiest
we'll
pet
just-
names.
We'll just look up.
Pookie.
Pookie.
Come here, Pookie.
Pookie. That one's kind of gross.
I looked up one, and one of them was just butt.
Not my bass. Not when I was coaching this last
Oh
year.
yeah.
The whole team, like the team nickname for me was Coach Pookie.
Coach Pookie.
Yeah. That died
I just know
quickly.
people, or they'll like refer to their friends as that, and I just get secondhand embarrassment.
Pet names relationship. No,
Honey
no.
bun, cupcake. Cupcake's one of
No,
them.
Kel, look up the most disliked pet name.
Okay, the one that's like whatever is like babe, but if like baby
Most
like
disturbing.
ew.
All right, yeah, let's go to Reddit. That's where all truth and knowledge is. Reddit.
The depths of Reddit.
Okay, curious what some of our scroll down.
People have some weird
Baby
kinks.
in age gap romance. Yes, officer. This one. I'm a sucker for a good old fashioned my love or love. Pet. In
Pet?
exact.
Come here, pet.
Come here, pet.
The freak.
My parents are the ones that during Christmas, rather than putting like Shelly to mom to dad, they put like to my love, to my dear, to my significant. You know.
To my significant other.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd be too lazy.
from babe to baby, like.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like,
So then we're trying to distribute the gifts, and we're like, which one's babe and which one's baby?
Oh yeah, instead of
Yeah.
writing mom or dad or
Yeah.
Kelly or Rusty.
So then Shelly's
Oh.
like, oh, whoa, not you putting pornography on the show, Kel.
Listen, yeah, that's fair.
Then you're gonna be fired.
One time, me and Matt had an hour conversation about pornography.
Yeah.
Okay, but guys, that's not the point. Look at this nickname.
Schmoopy. That's what I'm calling you now. You're Schmoopy.
I'm not responding to
What about
that.
this one, guys?
What up, Schmoop?
I'll just call you Coach.
What
then.
up, Poopsie?
If you call me that, I'm calling you Coach.
That's what. Oh god. That's what. That would be perfect for like Eva. That's like right up her alley.
Poopsie.
Hey, Poopsie.
What about cutie patootie?
Oh yeah, let's talk about how you have a
heard that one.
5-year-old girlfriend.
Let's not talk
and
about
you're
that.
23.
No. It's not like that. It's like
They tried to kiss in sacrament.
No, whoa. Kiss in sacrament.
Okay, guys, this one.
Shout out to Vanessa,
Baby cakes, honey.
her mom. She's a viewer of the show.
Oh,
Vanessa watches
it's
consistently.
okay. Eva's cute, so I'll allow it.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy. Open relationship.
But
Only
was that
for Eva. Just
polyamorous?
Oh, poly, yeah.
Yeah. No. Eva's just a cute girl. She doesn't know what
is cute.
relationships are.
She's cute, yeah.
I'm not ready for a boyfriend. Maybe when I'm 7 or 10.
7 or 10, yeah.
Yeah, that's so specific.
I'm not
7
ready
or 10.
when I'm 7 or 10. But
I don't know where 8 and 9 went, but
Yeah.
so, Jules, my
Oh.
question.
I'm scared.
Sorry, I'm changing topics, but one of the things I'm curious about is with
I don't like that.
no, with because like you have very much like you're in nursing school or you're going into nursing school,
Yeah, in January.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting because a lot of people don't know what they want to go into. And maybe that was different back, 10, 15, 20 years ago where that was kind of you just picked a career path and kept it simple, go into law or become a doctor or a nurse or, construction or whatever the profession was, plumber, right? You may go into trade school. But now, like, especially I think with the internet and, like, social media, everything, right? Everyone's knowledge base expanded a lot. So now you got people who are doing all sorts of things for work or maybe they're not working at all, And so I think a lot of people don't know, especially when they come out of high school or they come, in their first few years of college, they don't know what they want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that you were kind of like, no, I want to be a nurse. I know what I'm doing. So why nursing? What kind of got you on that train of thought? And at this point, you're committed to sticking with it. So
Yeah.
what's
I'm in
kind
too
of
deep. I
you're in
can't
too
leave
deep.
now.
There's no turn back.
Okay, a lot of people have like this huge, I guess you could say, revelation of why they want to like do something. But I feel like I wasn't that way. I was always like interested in it, and in my mind, there was nothing else I like saw interesting. I mean, there was a few random things.
Yeah.
But I was always like, I want to be a nurse. I want to be in the medical field. And then like I took anatomy and stuff, and that's my like favorite topic ever. I found that super interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't really have a huge reason why I wanted to do it, but like every time I see like a nurse, I'm like, oh, I just want to do that. And then also,
It's
like
the
the other,
scrubs, isn't it?
yeah.
You see the scrubs, you're like, I just
Oh,
want to wear
totally.
those.
Okay, but also on the other side of it,
TikTok in your scrubs.
Yeah.
okay,
You're doing like fit
Stop.
checks every day. It's the same thing.
Utah boy checks.
stop. They like spin around. Also, okay, on the other side of things, like besides me like having a desire to do it, you only have to work 3 days a week. Yes, they're 12-hour shifts, but every day, the other days you have off, and then you get paid bank. And you can transfer between specialties.
What's the typical pay?
Starting off is around. Okay, actually, it depends what you do, because I feel like I've seen it range. Oh,
What specialty are you going into?
Just
I don't
keep
know
looking
yet.
it up.
In my there's a few I want to do. Like, I've thought of labor and delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Forensic nursing's interested me. I don't know if I'll actually do that. Or
That'd be cool.
Or the
Forensic nursing.
PICU, pediatric ICU.
What do forensic nurses do specifically?
There's like 3 main things they'll do. So they'll do medical examinations on sexual assault victims.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then they can testify in court if
cool.
needed for evidence and stuff. And then sometimes they'll help collect the evidence at a crime scene. And they'll do like the rape kits and stuff. So I've always thought that's interesting because forensics interests me too.
Is there a reason? Like, because like I didn't even know forensic nursing was even a thing. So did you have an introduction to that, or where'd you hear about it, or?
Junior year, financial apps. Were you in that class, Kel?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we had to do this project where we had to write a resume for like a job we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I looked up forensics and nothing was interesting. And I looked up nursing and I was like, I'm going to combine it. And then I saw forensic nursing and I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Just
So
randomly, you just decided to combine the two?
Yeah, so I looked it up. And then I was like, oh, that looks really cool. So that's always been in the back of my mind too. But I'll decide later.
What was interesting about forensics to you? Like, did you watch like a bunch of cop shows, or?
I mean, yeah, that. And then my dad does stuff with that, and so I've heard his stories, and I'm always like, oh, that's so cool. My dream job.
What did your dad do?
My dad?
Yeah.
Well, he was a cop And then he works for, like, Homeland Security. I think it's called a forensic auditor is his title.
Oh, okay.
So he collects evidence when he does search warrants with cops for the child internet sex crimes, like catching people.
So he's the guy that goes in and, like, collects all the...
Yeah, he'll, like, take pictures of evidence and stuff, too.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he showed me some pictures, though, and I'm like, I didn't need to see that. Yeah. Oh.
What are you... Okay, typical pay for a nurse forensic
that's forensic
yearly.
nurse. Look up nurse in general.
Okay, top
forensic
earners.
nurse is, like, the last thing I'll probably do.
So the top earners are... Wait, hold on, Kel.
If you're a travel nurse, you get paid bank.
So $93,000 per year, basically.
I feel like it
Monthly,
ranges.
$7,000
I've
a
seen it
year.
up to like
That's pretty good.
$120,000 per year.
Oh, shoot.
I think it ranges.
And that's forensic, you say?
Well, I think that...
Do forensic nurses make more than typical nurses?
I have no idea. That's just like forensics is like the last thing I want to do. I'd say the first two are like labor and delivery or the PICU, but I haven't decided.
That's kind of like... That's like the babies, right?
Well, labor and delivery is like with the mom, like actually giving birth, obviously.
Okay.
Because there's like
what do you do there? What does a nurse do in the labor? I just don't have any knowledge at all.
Okay.
Not only am I unknowledgeable in the process of delivering the baby, but I don't know what the doctors do or the mothers, frankly.
Well, they're obviously there for
I just
like...
know they push. That's it.
Or if they get a
and then
C-section.
you wait till you hear the baby cry and it comes out.
Hopefully it cries.
Yeah. If it
doesn't.
That's dark.
Yeah.
Will they always cry?
Well, there's a hole in your heart.
Oh, what?
Okay. Well,
Wait, what?
I learned about this in my anatomy class. I think it's called like forum. I don't know, actually. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to mess it up. But it's like in your heart, and that's how oxygen will get through to your heart when you're in the baby's womb. And as soon as you take your first breath.
Wait, when you're in the baby's womb?
Or when you're in the mom's womb.
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
Sorry. Okay.
I was like, wait.
So when the baby's in the womb, there's like a hole in their heart that oxygen will go through to get to the heart when... Yeah. But then as soon as the baby's born and it takes its first breath, that hole closes. But then, like, if you don't hear the cry, then that means something's, like, wrong with that. Because the baby's not breathing if it's not crying.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What's that? Do you know what it's called?
It's like forum or...
Kel, look this up. Look up the hole in the heart for a baby first breath.
I think it's like foramen, because foramen means hole. Or, like, opening.
Forum means hole or opening?
Foramen.
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
I pronounced that wrong.
No, you're good.
Or it's like forum ovale. I don't know, actually.
I just honestly...
I probably could be, like, wrong on the name.
How can I type this in without being hard for me to spell?
Probably not. You, like, memorize all your stuff.
Sorry. MEN. There it is, the top one.
Foramen ovale? Ovale? How am I saying that right? Okay, the foramen ovale is an aperture in the muscular tissue between the left and right atrium that allows blood to cross the atria and bypass pulmonary circulation during fetal development. The surrounding tissue is composed of smooth muscle derived from the septum premium and septum secundum.
I don't know if that's right, actually.
Dang. So when they how's it closed when they take the breath? Does it just kind of like seal up or what?
I don't remember.
Okay.
That was a while ago, but I'm assuming something like that.
That's what's so cool. Like, honestly, whenever I think of like little babies, like, or I hear more things about like the birthing process or like kids or like the little kids with the mom. Like, for example, I didn't know till recently about the whole like mother's breast milk will put different nutrients in for the baby based off their saliva, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it based off their saliva?
I don't know.
Bite on the nipple?
So, like, when they're, like...
Wait, fact check me on that, because I don't know, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, when they're, like, sucking the nip.
When they're sucking the nip, the saliva.
I think it's slipping. I was like, what?
That's what I heard. I heard that it was, like, when they, like, attach to the nipple, the glands on the mom's, like, what's the nipple called in anatomy terms? It's like...
Good question.
This is also one of those like random things I know.
Yeah.
You know, this is like
random facts.
This is like the clitoris being like an unformed like penis.
Yeah.
In like generally.
No, we'll be like.
No, it's true.
We'll be like sitting down or just existing somewhere, and he brings that up. Like his
Dude,
intrusive thoughts win.
I had Shelly cracking up on that one though. I don't know why. For some reason, like the nerdy side of her brain thought that was really funny.
Why'd you spell mothers like that?
I didn't mean to.
Mothers.
This thing is like so janky.
You really should just type in
or look up like the mammary glands.
Yeah.
Because that's what.
I'm glad someone knows the terms.
See, this thing just turns off midway through.
Is it? I think the batteries are going bad, so we may have to
If
just
only
change
I had
them out.
like voice.
Not if being stuck on this. Anyways, if they stop working, then we may just have to not use it right now, but that's okay. But yeah, anyway, so I heard that about the gland.
Where are you hearing these things? Do you always have random scientific facts?
I don't know. I just it wasn't like on social media that I heard it. I think it was from somebody. Are you looking
these things up?
Yeah, I'm looking up breastfeeding mothers.
Scientific fact of the day.
I'm trying to type it in and look what it's doing.
Yeah, it's just.
It's Mammary.
Not you in all caps. Okay, yeah. The mammary gland is a highly evolved and specialized organ developing on each side of the anterior chest wall. This organ's primary function is to secrete milk. Though the gland is present in both sexes, it is well developed in females, but rudimentary in males.
I'm pretty sure it's a modified sweat gland, actually.
Yeah?
Or pseudophorus gland, yeah. So that's cool.
But what does it do? I kind of want to know what it does, Kel. Can you scroll down and see if there's more?
Well, it, secretes the milk. Or,
Yeah, no, it secretes the milk, but I'm wondering,
It's an exocrine gland.
Let's not do it on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
We get, the real-life visual images. Gonna have to blur that.
Not include it.
Yeah. This is an educational video, kiddos.
We're actually teaching you how breastfeeding works.
Yeah.
I don't know what
But I heard that. So anyways, it's very cool when it's I just want to know if it actually the saliva from the baby actually
it
it's
gives you the correct nutrients, so if the baby gets sick, then it will
it
will provide the correct nutrients
if the baby has an infection or something.
Yeah, so that it can get better.
Right. So anyways, I thought that was really cool. But that was another fact about the heart. I just didn't realize that.
I know, that's why I like the anatomy, because someone will pull out a random fact. I'm like, oh wait, that's actually cool.
Yeah. That's kind of eye-opening to how, I don't know, because you hear people talk about AI replacing humans and all those type of things.
Scary.
It is scary. But I always think about the complexity of the human brain or the human body or babies, or the fact that a baby can suck on a mom's nipple and it can read the saliva, all those things. You think of just how advanced and complex our bodies are. It's kind of hard to imagine how we would ever.
I don't think AI will. I mean, AI does a lot of things, but I don't think it'll ever do anything as complex as that.
No.
Especially because humans are God's creation.
Right.
AI is not going to reach that level.
That's where I think the concept, because people I think struggle with the idea of God, or knowing if God's real or something like that. I think most people generally believe there's something out there that's a higher power,
higher being.
Something, yeah. But as far as people's understanding of what that is per se, but I always think it's funny when you see anything we try to do to progress as a civilization. We've done a lot of things like technology, phones, the fact that you basically have a supercomputer in your phone is crazy.
I know.
You know, or AI is another good example. So there's really cool things we can do and we've learned, but it's not even close to you look at the earth, the world, or human beings or anything. It's not even close to those type of things. So it's man, we need to get with God and tap into whatever He's doing, because I don't know what.
Let us in on that.
Yeah. Have you heard the theories with aliens and how people think that I don't know what the lady's name is, but there's this theory with aliens about how the technology that we have nowadays, with phones or even some AI, they think that it was alien technology that they dropped off to us so that we could progress as a civilization.
I've never heard that. Where are you hearing this?
No, I'm serious.
Again, this is one of your random things you're searching.
No.
Scouring the internet for.
There's a lady. I'll look it up. Here, Kel, use my phone and look that up, or use your phone, because our tech's not working on this end.
What?
So there's this lady. I can't remember what her name is, but there's a theory where she talks about alien life dropping off, providing the technology, this alien technology for us to progress as a civilization.
What's her evidence for that? I would like to know.
Well, if you look at the government released a bunch of files recently about aliens and stuff. So there's legit evidence of
I think I think other life on planets exist.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's in the way that movies portray aliens. You know, the green figure with the weird shaped head.
Yeah.
You know what I hope it is? The Navi.
Yeah. Bruh. Kelly, you don't have a mic, so this is you need to stop inputting because no one can hear what you're saying except us, and then all they hear is us laughing at what you're saying. But yes, it would be cool if the Avatar people, the blue ones, were the aliens because they kind of fine if you know it. They kind of bad though. But what were you saying about the aliens?
Oh, I think life does exist on other planets. I just don't think it's the way that movies portray aliens or like sci-fi does.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agreed.
But yeah, I have seen that the government's released some files. Or wasn't there one that was found in Mexico or something?
Yes. Like Roswell? There's New Mexico, like Roswell.
Oh, I think it was New Mexico, maybe.
Yeah, Roswell's a big one.
Bro, I just want to know what the government's hiding in Area 51.
Yeah.
Like, let me in on that.
I low-key think... So, here's my thought process. I kind of think that aliens are from here. Like, meaning... I agree. I don't think we think of aliens in the same way. Like, I don't think they're from, like, outer space or a different planet. I think that...
I'm dead.
I think two things. I think, one, maybe there is some, like, life form that we can't see, per se.
Well, I think that's true, because our, like, colors we can't see.
Right. So maybe there is some alien life form that we just aren't aware of, you know? Like, I think about the ocean, like, where, like, so much of it's unexplored.
Scary.
Like, who knows?
What, like, 5% of it?
Hey, once again, can't hear
It's
anything.
been 5% for, like, 10 years or more than 10 years, and I'm like,
yeah.
All right, so when are we increasing that percentage?
Well, like, how do you explore that much ocean,
Well,
you know? Like, they have ways to scan.
There was that one submarine that tried to, and then they...
like, imploded?
Yeah.
NASA was originally for the ocean.
Yeah, but then apparently they stopped for some reason.
And then
Bruh.
they went to space.
Sus.
Not even that. I honestly don't believe the moon landing happened. No, they're so... Okay.
I don't either.
Like, and I'm not trying to be... I think it's one of those touchy topics because unlike some conspiracy theories that are, like, negative, you know, like, no one wants to believe, not like, 9/11 was a CIA setup. No one wants to believe, like, JFK was murdered by the CIA. Like, no one wants to believe that, you know, because it's so negative. But, like, everyone wants to believe we went to the moon, you know, because it's, like, a national pride issue. But, like, if you just look at the facts of the story... Like, the technology, Kel, once again, you don't have a mic, bro. Do we need to mic you? Because you definitely want to input on all this, so do we need to mic you? No, we can mic you. Kel, we'll mic you. You want to be mic'd?
Time to get mic'd up.
You're just talking about a topic that
Okay. Hey, Kel, okay. Hit pause on the recording, and we'll mic you real quick, and then we'll get right back.
Oh, why did it turn off, though?
Oh, has it not been recording? Okay, so... but on the moon landing, like, I just think if you look at, like, the technology back then versus now, like, we've never been back to the moon.
That's what's suspicious about it.
Like, that's the part that's suspicious. And then if you talk about the around the Earth, I don't know what it's called. It's called but there's a radiation belt around the Earth. Now, we have satellites and things like that have gone into orbit because the radiation belt's not there. But in order to get through that radiation belt, I think there's a clip, and I'm not positive, but I was listening to something the other day where going through that radiation belt, the technology, like some people, like a scientist at NASA currently was like, they don't have the technology right now for their equipment to go through that radiation belt without it being damaged to potentially harming the astronauts. They didn't say they don't have the technology to send the astronauts through per se. They said the technology would be damaged by the radiation. So how do they have... How do they not have the technology to get through the radiation belt that's necessary to get to the moon, but they were able to do it, 60 years ago?
1969.
Yeah. So it's just like very, just kind of suspicious. And when you start like looking at these things from the CIA, you know, whether it's 9/11, JFK has been proven. Like there's so much evidence showing that was an inside job against against JFK. Because he wanted to disband the CIA.
Yeah.
And so there's, just talking to the mic.
No, just keep going.
And so there's just a lot of evidence showing that, like, there's these things. So when you see that and you see that the government's lied about multiple things throughout history.
About everything.
Yeah. And at the time, right, there was the Cold War. They were trying to prove that they could outbeat Russia. So there was a lot of ante on the line, right? There's a lot of things that they were trying to do. But yeah, so I don't necessarily believe that the moon landing happened personally, but I don't know. Once again, I can't prove it, but when you start looking at some of the facts and the evidence, it's kind of suspicious.
Oh, were you pulling up footage?
Oh,
Does that say 3 hours?
I have no idea. You'll just have to look, Kel. But what I was saying about the aliens. Oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about. The aliens. I think either two things. One, either, like, we have aliens who are...
Like, how can they stream this? Like, for real.
Also, wasn't the flag waving in the wind or something? But there's no wind or something like that?
there's a clip about the waving flag.
Yeah, because remember that's an argument.
Isn't there also something about the lighting, it not being, like...
Oh, because, like, the angle of the sun or something?
Yeah, they said it was, like...
That it would only be through... That one had to have been, like, electrical lighting.
Also, what is this footage?
And I think it had to do with the shadows, actually, because there's pictures of where the shadows... If they were all vertical, it'd be from the sun, right? Because the sun is so far away, it would cast the same shadow on whatever was there. But if it was in a studio, you'd have shadows intercrossing because the lighting's different. Like if you were,
like, see how the shadows.
I want to believe it though.
Yeah, no, I mean same, but.
Well, yeah,
but it's hard to believe.
That's why it's hard to debunk.
Yeah.
You know another theory I believe? They
What?
have a cure for cancer. There's no way we don't.
Yeah.
They're just hiding it from us so that the pharmaceutical, what's the word? Industry gets money.
Yeah.
Because it's corrupt.
Well, you think about how much money is made off those treatments. Like, what's the treatment for it? It's
chemo.
Chemo, yeah, chemo.
Or radiation therapy too.
Yeah. Look up the cost of chemotherapy.
It's not cheap.
No. And so, because why wouldn't there be?
Well,
you
they're
gotta
like,
think there's got to be, yeah.
Also, there's been like so many different ways they've. Why are you looking up the KKK?
No, I KKK once.
Yeah, just keep typing. You're good.
Also, they're always trying to like use different methods to solve it. So you would think by now they'd find one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they've tried using the stem cells.
Right.
Or like I was reading the other day about the psychoneuroimmunotherapy or something.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you about this, how they'll try and use, if you like hope that you're going to get better, you'll recover better.
Right.
And so I was reading that they were trying to use that to cure cancer. Which, that one's, I do believe that's happening, but I don't know if that could completely cure cancer. But it could play a role into it.
I kind of think this too, because like, a little bit, it's interesting. The cost of, depending on the drug and type of cancer it treats, the average monthly cost of chemo drugs can range from $1,000 to $12,000.
Monthly.
Patients who require 4 chemo sessions a year could cost them up to $48,000 total, which is beyond the average annual income. Yeah, so, and the thing that's weird too is when you think about like the pharmaceutical industry, how much money is made off of it, and then you look at how interconnected it is with our like our food industry, and all the junk stuff they put into our food,
all the preservatives
and carcinogens that they find out are carcinogens after the fact, like. And then you look at some of the what one could consider very clear propaganda on like there's been lots of stuff on meats and how meats are not good for you, even though there's a proven track record of like the nutrients in meats is typically way better for you than like bread or cereal. But then they'll market cereal because it's a business, right? They're trying to sell and make money. But
it's all about money.
Yeah. So when you look at that, like, once again, you don't want to go down the train of like everybody's
like
out
conspiring against.
Yeah.
Everyone's out to get me.
But follow the money, right?
I know one time I think I've told you this, but one time I was at church and one of the girls brought her, or like had an exchange student or something, or a friend, and we were talking about, I don't know if it was a candy or something we were talking about. And we were like, oh, have you ever had that? And she was like, no, it's banned in my country. And I think she was from, like, I don't know, England or something.
UK or something.
UK, somewhere over there. And I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, there's a lot more strict laws on certain, like, items that are in food.
Now they have, like, fake chicken.
Oh, like the
wood pulp or something?
Or, like, the meat, the patties, the hamburger patties. What are those called?
Oh, the, like, fake meat or whatever?
No, it's, like, fake. It's...
Impossible meat?
Yes, it's like the veggie burger, Impossible. I don't actually know what it is. I've never.
No, it's made with other stuff. It's not. That's vegan burgers. They make veggie burgers, but these ones are these are like some sort of different, like lab grown meat. So it's not really meat. I don't know. It's just what they've created. But they've marketed, as like different, like it's like lab grown meat.
Well, I feel like that's why, like,
which can't be good.
Well, you'll see people go to other countries and they'll lose like 10 pounds while they're there, even for eating pasta.
Right.
And like all this stuff because there's no preservatives or anything in the food.
Mm-hmm.
Like Italy or stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's true. Like in Italy, because everything's like made from scratch.
Yeah. And probably grown locally, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm, and made from like, and it's all, they talk about when you go to the store and you look at like the label, the ingredients, right? Do you know like every single word that's on there?
Yeah, can you I've seen stuff like, can you pronounce that word?
Yeah.
It's like, no.
It's like these random, like super long.
Let's see what's in here.
I know, right? As we chug down on a energy drink that are so good.
Gluconeuronolacto. I don't even know.
Yeah, just random stuff.
Well, have you seen like the whole thing about China buying our agricultural land?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're buying up tons of it. Yeah, I don't know. I think with...
Why is China buying land here, though? That's the question.
Well, I mean...
China West?
No, we are not China West. And I don't know. I think it's interesting with how much, because you think of how many like Chinese, Asian, Asians are coming to America, just immigrating. Mm-hmm. But then, like, and it's weird. I have two trains of thought because I've heard different things. Like, China, in some ways, is our biggest competitor. Right?
We owe them so much money, too.
We owe them tons of money. They've manufactured almost like the prime majority of things out there. Mm-hmm. But also I've heard because of their policies on reproducing.
Oh, like the limiting kids?
Yeah, they have a high increase of males to females, and so they're struggling to repopulate as a culture. Mm-hmm. And so eventually they're going to go kind of like... Do
you think they're going to like rely on incest?
I don't know about incest. I don't know if that's where I was going, Jules, but
I'm just kidding.
Oh, you really jumped to incest quickly.
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. That's what I've heard. Like the two thought processes that they're either one, they're going to be the next superpower that is like really worrisome, and we need to be cautious of China. And then I've also heard that they're kind of a non-factor, and in the next 20 years they're going to die out or they're going to be dying out as a population because of their restrictions on repopulating. So I don't know. I've heard both things, and I'm kind of like, I don't know which one is really factual, because some people don't think China's an issue at all, but then sometimes you find out those people are also doing tons of business with China. So then you're like,
the double standard here.
Yeah, it's like
you're being paid to say that.
Yeah, they've kind of got an interesting system though, because they have really mastered the idea of, because in essence they don't claim they're a communist country. But they really are like they have a...
They're in denial.
Yeah, they have Xi Jinping, I think his name. Is it Look that up, Kel.
Are you talking about their leader?
Yeah, is it Xi?
I don't know.
I think it's Xi Jinping. I know his last name's Ping. That's why I know. Look it up on the phone, because I don't think the keyboard's working. But he's the leader of the... I don't know what they consider him.
Like dictator?
I don't think they consider him a dictator, because they kind of have... Xi Jinping, yeah. So we all refer to them as a communist country, but I think they consider themselves as...
15th of 1953.
All right, so he's definitely too old to be in office.
Yeah, so he would be considered their dictator if you were to really look at it, but I don't think they call him that. He's their president is what they call him. Yep. And what type of...
Kind of drippy, though.
I can't remember what type of, what their government system is called.
Is it totalitarian?
It might be. It might be a totalitarian system.
I don't know.
I know they've got it.
Not gonna lie, I forgot what that means.
China,
That's the CCP. We call it the Chinese Communist Party. But they don't call it that, obviously. But anyways, what's interesting about it, though, is that in order to do business there, the government owns part of all the companies that are there. So they've kind of blended government and capitalism together. And so if you're doing business,
not good.
Right, that's why the TikTok thing is such an issue here.
Because they're stealing our information.
Right, but see, TikTok is owned in China. It's a company in China, but the government owns part of all the companies.
Oh, that makes sense.
So TikTok has a big footprint here in China. And therefore, that's what the big concern is here, is that because the the government owns that company. They've infiltrated basically all of Americans.
Didn't the
lives.
TikTok ban kind of make it past the? Was it the House or the Senate?
I think it was the House.
Okay.
The House approved the TikTok ban.
Yeah.
It has to be approved by
Someone's
the Senate.
gonna buy it though.
That's what they're thinking. I've heard a lot of people putting offers out there to have America buy the prime majority of TikTok, or maybe let China own a percentage, or whatever company in China own a percentage, but the primary stakeholders will have most control.
I kind of hope it gets banned, because then all those influencers will lose their job.
Actually, just trying to do dirty the influencers.
Okay, it makes me mad when they're like, day in my life is so hard. I went to get coffee and then did a hot Pilates class, and I made $4,000 a day. My life's so hard.
My only issue.
Yeah, I hate out of touch influencers. I'm like, snap back into it.
My only issue.
Busy day, gotta clean my room.
Like, okay.
So that's a day off.
My only issue with the influencers on there is when a lot of times it's a lot of like copy and paste. So they see other influencers that maybe there was an influencer who was doing that and it was kind of creative because they were the first one or one of the few, and so they were genuinely showcasing their life. But then you get a lot of people who are just copying what they see, and my thing is like, go actually get experience or a knowledge base or something that people want to view.
Yeah, let me rephrase my statement here.
No,
if you're an influencer, it's fine, go you, getting those brand deals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just don't like when they take it for granted about how that can be their life and their job, and they're super out of touch. Yeah. And it's like, okay, you're not relatable anymore, so I don't want to watch you.
Yeah.
Or like,
we're kind of all out, but I feel like society's out of touch in general.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like we live in such a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to live like 80 years ago.
Yeah.
That would have been tough.
Back when there was like...
Imagine living in the Great Depression.
Yeah. We were starving, no medicines, anything.
No cures for cancer.
People say that silent depression now.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that because of their claim with that we were living in the silent depression was that the annual wage in the Great Depression was a certain amount. I don't know what it was. Maybe,
super low.
Yeah, it was like maybe $15,000 a year or something. Maybe not even that. Maybe it was $5,000 a year. I'd have to look that up. But anyways, it was a low amount, right? But then they calculated that if you take the current annual wage, which is I think like $43,000 a year for the typical person, maybe it's 42. If you take that and you do the inflation, calculate the inflation to that it really is about the same as the annual wage in the Great
everything's so
Depression.
expensive now.
Right. So if you calculate all that together, what is it? Battery died? What happened?
Card is full.
Okay, we just need to switch out the card then. So, Kel, unfortunately, we're going to have to turn yours off.
You're being muted. We're putting you on mute.
Because that's the...
Is that what's chewing it up? Or?
No, we need to switch cards.
Card.
Yeah.
That's fine, I have nothing else to say.
I probably shouldn't take this. Okay, and we're back. So
What were we talking about?
I don't remember exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's this idea that if you calculate the wage, that annual wage now
Compared to inflation
and all the other things, the cost of things now versus then.
Cost of living,
yeah,
essentially.
basically it's the same. Which I actually was reading about that, and I don't think that's factual. I don't think it's the same. So that was a little bit wrong. And
did you find that on Wikipedia?
No, it was like a show host, a conservative show host that was talking about it, and then I was looking into it, and they kind of were pointing out the numbers and how that's not necessarily true for nowadays. Mm-hmm. But I think the point is that it is awfully low for what a great time we live in, and technology-wise, like the fact that everything's so pricey, and then we have all this inflation. So definitely shows that there is some problems with the economy, but
yeah, because why is a Dutch drink $7?
I don't know. I don't go to Dutch, but that is a lot.
You should. You should. This is a plug.
Dutch Bros.
Yeah,
they need our help.
Sponsor
sales.
Matt.
That'd be nice.
As we're drinking like a Celsius.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of more. I don't even know what they sell. Is it just well, they sell coffee.
No, and then
drinks.
like the Red Bull drinks, but they're called Rebels, and then they have lemonade and stuff like that, and soda.
My problem is like there's nothing. Like I was never a drink guy. You know how some people are drink people. Like they always have to have drinks.
I feel like you are that guy.
I am now, but I never was. Like I never was into drinks.
Yeah.
Like I was just kind of water.
He doesn't go to QT.
Yeah, he has like QT withdrawals.
Okay, first of all, I go to Quick Trip, not QT. No,
Okay.
Yeah, now I am definitely for sure more, but I used to not be, and so I never really got into like the Dutch Bro hype or anything like that. Plus, there's not really anything there that I like per se.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I like these drinks are all 0 calorie. Like I'm really big into not drinking my calories.
That's fair.
And so, anytime I go to Dutch, where it's going to be like full of sugar,
it's
just
not 0.
never do.
It's 10 calories.
Okay, very low calories at the very least.
Yeah, I just don't look at the nutrition facts because then it makes me mad. I'm like,
see, I can't help myself on the nutrition facts.
That's fair.
I got in the habit and now I can't stop.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks because when you want to be naughty on your diet or like cheat, I always look at the nutrition facts. I'm like, oh, dang it. Then I feel guilty.
You're like, oh, I can't eat this or I can't drink this.
I sometimes still do though.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that cheat.
That's
that
true.
cheat meal or whatever.
Every
it
day's
is.
a cheat day. Just kidding. Balance.
Yeah. I'm more into limitation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like,
You can get that sweet treat.
like for me, I found that if I try to stick to where I'm doing more like protein, right? And then my things like I do carbohydrates more because people talk about the carbohydrates and how like it can cause water retention, but you hear like mixed opinions on it because some people say it's way better to have carbohydrates if you're wanting performance output, but then they also have some negative effects, meaning they're more easily turned into fats and things
That makes
like
me mad.
What, carbs?
That people have different opinions about like dieting and
Dieting.
stuff. Or like
Well-
working out, like what works for whatever. And I'm just like, I just want one simple answer.
Yeah. Well, that's the hard part. Everybody's body like works differently,
Yeah,
though.
that's true.
You know, and then some people like, and I guess depending on what you're trying to accomplish, like if you're doing athletics, like, you know, having some more carbohydrates probably is
Yeah.
good. But I think it's about what type of carbohydrates. You know, if you're putting a lot of
Empty carbs.
empty carbs. Well, empty carbs, but also if you're putting a lot of like preservative carbs, you know, things that are like things aren't the best carbs. Like rice, I don't think rice is a big deal. It is kind of an empty carb, but
I
it's
love
it's a
rice.
fuel source, right? So the thing that's worked for me is like protein, so maybe some carbs around a workout, and then trying to limit that during the day besides during the workout or prior to workout. And then sugar, just try to keep that down.
So where does this QT pizza and Red Bull fit into this?
That's the
standard.
occasional. That's the occasional
That's
break.
the sweet treat.
Yeah, that's the sweet treat.
All right.
You can't go wrong with a Red Bull and a slice of pizza, especially when it's $5.99.
At GCU, they had a frozen yogurt shop.
Mm.
It's like every once in a while we'd walk down there and get our sweet treat. It
Mm.
was so good. It was pretty cheap too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is like most of the time with the sweet treats or whatever we're calling it, I feel like half the time it's more about the experience than it is an actual item.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, like I just like the experience of going to Quick Trip, or you know, I guess you could apply it to whatever place you have. Quick Trip's just a gas station.
Bro, sometimes I'll get like not bored. I'll be just curious where you are, so I'll look at your location. You're always at Quick Trip or QT. Bro, like
that's just convenient.
80% of the time I like see your location, you're at QT.
I feel, oh gosh. I feel like you're just looking
Not that
at
I stalk
certain
your location
times.
a lot, but
Maybe I'm just more predictable on my timing than I think.
maybe I don't
I don't know.
It's like routine.
Yeah, you just happen to look.
12 p.m. every day, QT run.
And your routine is just you happen to look at those times.
Like sometimes I will if I'm trying to like procrastinate doing my homework. I'll be like, let me stalk everyone's location.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only person. You're like bored. You're like, let's talk Matt.
I mean, like sometimes.
Interesting.
Just kidding.
That's a little psycho.
You've definitely looked at my like location before, so don't even deny that.
I only do it if I'm like sometimes I'll do it when you're at school if I want to like go to lunch or something.
Oh, if you want to bring me headphones.
Yeah, if I want to bring you headphones. Yeah.
That's true.
But
No, I'm not constantly stalking you. I'll just like look sometimes if I'm
Occasionally.
curious. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, he's at QT again. You literally support their franchise.
Dude, hey, if Quick Trip wanted to sponsor me, I would happily jump in. I've talked about even. I think it'd be fun to own a Quick Trip franchise. I think that'd be so fun.
To own one of them?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Not because I really want to, per se, just because I think it'd be, like, something to say.
For the experience.
Yeah, for the experience. For the flex.
Yeah. Side quest.
I'm going to go to my Quick Trip.
Imagine being like, oh, yeah, I actually own a Quick Trip.
Yeah. Or like
I need to stop saying Quick Trip.
Oh, yeah.
You're influencing
you're QT.
me.
I like Quick Trip. I think it sounds better.
QT's so much better.
Nah, it's short, but I like Quick Trip.
Circle K is better.
Nope. False. I can't.
Which one was the gay one that you said was?
QT.
QT is
I
gay,
don't like
apparently.
QT. Oh, whoa. Don't make something I have to edit out. I'm not.
Let me filter myself.
Yeah. That's going to get us canceled. Matt thinks QT is gay. But,
Bro, people are too sensitive. Anyways.
True.
Continue.
I don't even know how we got to this topic, but but I think we're talking about aliens is what we started with, and then it like went to every other topic around that. But no, I think going back to the aliens conversation.
Oh my!
Because
okay.
I actually
You're really
had a
passionate
point.
about this.
No, because I really do think this is what I'm curious on. I want to hear your opinion on this.
Okay.
I think like with aliens, I don't think we've been visited by an outside planet or like aliens from a different planet.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe there's some sort of life on Earth already that we haven't seen. Because if you go back in like ancient records, like there's these stories of other life forms.
Or what are the like drawings on like the walls? Like it starts
like
with an
the
H.
cave walls or something. Hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the Egyptians were kind of weird just to start with. Like,
yeah. Like
there's
why
a
are we
lot of-
mummifying bodies?
a lot of question marks around that. But then the other thing too is, I think there's a lot of spirituality that we don't understand.
Yeah.
Meaning, like we don't really, no matter what faith you are, like if you believe in afterlife or heaven, hell, right? That's just terms we have in a religious sense, but we don't really understand the science behind how it works.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't know like how heaven works. Like we know when we talk like in our faith, like about the spirit world, like we in our faith, we know it's like the spirit world is here. Mm-hmm. At least that's what our understanding of it.
Yeah. Which
to me, I'm like, okay, so it's like we just can't see it. Like we can't
we just
interact
like live
with it.
among spirits.
Yeah, we live among spirits, but it's like I don't know if you'd consider it like in a scientific term another dimension. Like I don't know how you'd you know what I'm saying? So to me, I'm like, well, there's a whole lot of people on this earth, you know. How do we know someone hasn't been able to access a different dimension or
Yeah, or like yeah.
Right.
That's an interesting thing.
Right. Or even like if you think of like good and evil, like people want to if they want to connect with evil spirits.
Without the Ouija board?
Yeah, the Ouija board or whatever you want to do, right? Because, like, I think if you're talking about a battle of good and evil or, like, Satan or, you know, and God, you're trying to talk about those, like, I think, you know, Satan's probably trying to do all sorts of things to thwart plans. And if you're willing to, you know, work for him or work for evil, like, you're telling me you can't connect with evil spirits? I think you could. So
yeah, I think you can.
So that's where I think, like, if you talk about, like, aliens or alien technology or, like, even the stuff like that, I think there's probably a whole plane of things that we can't see.
That's so fascinating. I just want to know everything.
Yeah.
I don't think I could, like, handle it, though.
Comprehend it?
Yeah. I'd be like, whoa. Like, my mind would be blown.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. So I don't
I
think
think
I should
everyone's
know.
would.
Yeah. I don't think I need to know that right now.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone does. It is interesting to think, though, like I heard this theory about there being, like, this world being, like, there's 12 dimensions to this world.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah. And that we obviously can access the third dimension. Like, that's we're three-dimensional beings. And, but, you know, if you could access the other dimensions.
I can't even understand what the other dimensions would be.
Yeah, I don't either. But I have no idea. But the one thought I do have with that, because I always try to relate it back to, you know, in a religious sense, because obviously we're religious people, and, you know, I always try to, you know, with my beliefs at least, I believe, you know, I believe in God, and, like,
so do I.
We believe in God, right? And so
you're making it seem like I don't.
No, I'm sorry. I'm speaking in generic terms, right? But I always wonder. I'm like, okay, like I could see how, like, if there's multiple dimensions and like the spirit world is a dimension, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense, but I have no idea.
I mean, I think science in some ways aligns with religion.
Yeah, I think
So-
it's got to, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah,
how wouldn't it?
because God created all of these different processes.
Yeah, and there's got to be a way for that to happen. Like, I don't think, like, you hear the phrase, you can't make something out of nothing. Like, God didn't make us out of nothing.
Like yeah.
God didn't make the world out of nothing.
Yeah.
There had to be. It was matter unformed, is what we see in the Bible. Like, that's what it's called, matter unformed.
Mm-hmm.
But it had to start as something, or in like a religious sense, we started as spirit forms.
Mm-hmm.
And then our spirits became more intelligent, and then we were put into a human body, right? And that human body was created, obviously, through, like, other humans having sex and having babies, but then, right, like, so I think there has to be a process to everything. So the people who just think, like, oh, religion, like, oh, boom, boom, bang, like, magic, something happened,
Magic.
and then, but, like, seriously,
Yeah.
like, I think people sometimes think of religion in, like, a magical sense, like, oh, like, God then, through his ultimate power, which we don't know, so he, like, snapped his fingers and poof, there was... Right, like, poof, there was a world.
Even though I've never seen that movie. I know that reference.
I'm glad you know the most common superhero
Anyways.
reference. But yeah, like, I think people just think, like, oh, he snapped his fingers and magic happened and we appeared. But, like,
No.
that doesn't make any sense,
That's why I think it'd be hard to be a scientist if you're religious, especially in these days, because, like, they're always trying to prove something happened scientifically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like evolution, for example. Like, people think we came from, like, apes and stuff.
Right.
And then it's like, well, it gets a little...
Dicey there.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're trying to be, like, a scientist in these days, where religion isn't, like... They're, like, specifically science-focused, trying to prove everything with a fact. And, I mean, you probably... I don't know. That's just the difficult part.
The only thought I have when it comes to the whole evolution conversation, because I don't understand the timeline of it. I don't know enough about it to really have a say. Mm-hmm. But if I were to have a say, the only thought I have with it is that, like we in the Bible hear about God spent 7 days creating the world, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't know what that means in real time, say.
Yeah, because I feel like heavenly time is definitely different than...
Yeah, and you hear people, like, try to claim that, like, 1 day in our time is 1,000 years in God's time, which I don't know how
I've heard 20 years, too, so I think it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I have no idea what...
Yeah.
Like, no one really knows.
Well, no one knows.
Yeah, no one really knows.
Except
Everyone's
God
guessing.
Himself.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but the one thought I had was, we don't know how the first human beings were created. We don't know that. Mm-hmm. So, and like I said, I think God has to create something from something. So whether we were spirit and then I could see, like, maybe we were an animal or a creature and evolved, and that was God's process of creating the first human, So I could see that being, like, a theory and making sense in the whole scheme of God's plan. Well, once again, I don't understand it enough, or I don't know the evolution science behind that or what their theories are. But I could see, like, maybe in the process of God creating the first human beings, like, those were his test runs. I don't know,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think he's a creator, obviously, so he had to figure out the process too. Like,
I mean, I was reading something in my micro textbook, like, yesterday, and it was talking about, it stands for LUCA, and it's like because, like, they'll trace all, like, other organisms back to that. It's like a stance or something, like, the last, like, I don't even know what it stands for, but then they'll trace, like, all of the living organisms back to, like, the first cell, I guess. I don't know. That's just their theory. I'm just like, oh, that's interesting.
the first cell.
I don't know. Look it up, Kel.
Yeah. What was it?
Look up LUCA, or I guess I could look it up too.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I wish my keyboard hadn't died.
I don't know what it stands. Look up LUCA microbiology. Or I guess I could.
But they track it all the way back to the first cell.
It stands for the last universal common ancestor. It's the hypothesized common ancestral cell from which the 3 domains of life, so bacteria, archaea, and eukarya, originated from. So we're technically eukarya, because that's all animals and plants, and I guess we could be considered as, like, an animal. So it's the last universal common ancestor that they'll trace it all back to, which I find interesting.
What did they trace back to? Do they know?
They don't know what it is.
They just know there's an organism.
Yeah, they call it LUCA. I don't know what it was.
Last
Universal common ancestor.
Yeah, last universal common ancestor. So that's another theory. So I don't know.
Do you think that there was, like, the possibility of a civilization of human beings before us that got completely just, like, wiped out? And, like, I'm talking, like, we have no track record.
Like dinosaur age?
Maybe.
Like when they got wiped out? Some people don't think dinosaurs are real.
I don't even understand well, but then we have all, like,
I know, the bones and stuff.
Yeah. But see, I think they were real. How
I think
could they
they're
not
real
be?
too.
Have you seen Jurassic Park? I think it gotta be.
Oh, I love that movie.
I know. But, yeah, like, how could they not be real? That'd be so sad.
I don't know. I've been to museums where they have full-on dinosaurs.
I just don't...
You think dragons are real?
I think... Well, I don't know.
That's how's the whole fire thing working?
Like, how are they breathing fire?
Yes.
Well, I don't think that.
Because I technically... Well, because I'm sure, like, maybe that... I don't know.
Because they have, like, the...
People were weird back then.
Maybe they have, like, a gland.
Pterodactyls?
Yeah. So, like, that's technically, like, could be, like...
True.
a dragon.
But why would they have record of that?
Bro, I've seen people, like, back then writing about, like, seeing pterodactyls.
Really?
Yeah, like, random historical documents of it. I don't know if that's probably not true.
I think with dragons, honestly, we have a long history of people's storytelling.
It's probably gotten twisted.
Exaggerated. Yeah, so it got twisted and changed over time. There probably was some sort of creature that was...
Yeah, a giant bird.
It's just a giant bird
oh my gosh,
flying
it's
through
a
the sky.
fire-breathing dragon.
They saw an eagle, and that's a dragon.
We all know Matt wants to believe the dragon theory.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be
I'm
cool.
okay with it. I'll accept dragons.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, I don't think that
Wait,
that's
what's
what
Toothless?
they were. Toothless.
My
Yeah.
coworker got a tattoo of Toothless. It's kind of cool. Also, I'm like, why?
Kind of a lame tattoo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's
You
on
got
his shoulder.
Toothless on your body for the rest of
Yeah,
your
he
life.
shows up to work and he like lifts up his like sleeve and he's like, "Look at the tattoo I just got." And I was like, "All right, so you dropped $300 on that?"
Yeah, you've gotta love DreamWorks if that's the case.
Yeah. He was like,
Like,
it was
it's
a random.
Shrek.
He said it was a random 3 a.m. thought, which people have weird thoughts at that hour, right?
I just think if you're gonna get tattoos, like, get something artistic. Like,
Yeah,
get something that
or
you'd be like, this is
meaningful,
a
I
piece
guess.
of art, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw Tate McRae posted a picture of someone tattooing her face on their arm. It did not look like her.
Oof.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so bad.
Yeah, you gotta get a good artist. You gotta, like, trust the person you're gonna get that tattoo
Yeah, 'cause
from.
if they botch it. I mean, I guess you can get it removed technically.
Yeah.
It's painful and expensive.
Yeah.
Basically, I would never get a tattoo, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I have no desire,
Yeah.
you know?
Why?
Mainly because it's painful.
That's fair.
Why would I put myself through pain? I don't have to.
I mean, you pierce your ears.
I do. But then, like...
Is that shorter pain? I've never had my ears pierced, so I have no idea.
Doesn't really hurt.
Well, the triple ones keep getting, like I don't know, those ones kind of hurt. Not really anymore, but like, those look better than tattoos, you know?
Facts.
True.
And you can always like.
You can change them out. Yeah, you can, if you don't want them, you can take them out.
I feel like the argument for tattoos that I've heard has always been around if you appreciate the art of a tattoo. Like the artistry of it,
Yeah.
like having art on your body.
I mean, like, that's cool, but like...
You'd be wrinkly.
I just don't
you
appreciate
get
that type of
saggy.
art personally.
You get saggy and then it looks dumb.
Yeah. I just think having it on your body, like, I just not... But I also, when I look at tattoos, you know, some people look at tattoos and they really think, like, wow, that looks so cool. Like, I love the design.
Depends on the
They don't
Yeah,
really...
it does.
They don't really, like, speak to me in that way.
Yeah,
Does that make
agreed.
sense?
No, because I would never get anyone's name tattooed either. Like, my uncle got his, like, a girl's name tattooed on his arm. They broke up. So now it's stuck with him forever.
Yeah, you got to be sure about that person
Yeah,
you're going to get
you gotta be
tattooed.
locked in.
Like,
for, 12
get your mom's name on you if you're going
Yeah,
to.
if
Like,
you
that's
if you
not
get a
gonna
name,
change.
like a family member, that's... Yeah, you just, like, switch moms.
Yeah.
You're like, all right.
Like, I got rid of my mom, sorry.
I adopted a new mom. She got banished to Idaho.
Yeah, we sent her away. Get it scrubbed.
Yeah, I would just never get, like... Or people who get faces tattooed.
Mm.
Like, why?
on their and tattoos on their face.
Or you can tattoo your eyeballs.
Oh, I heard about that. That would hurt.
They look scary. There's black eyes. I'm like,
There's only one person I know that's pulling off face tattoos right, and it's Post Malone.
yeah.
And even
Posty.
then, I feel like that's just because he's more of a vibe now. Like,
Yeah.
Post isn't even a human being. He's just a feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Real.
Like, when you think of Post Malone, I don't even think of him as, like, a person. He's just a vibe.
Why is he low-key country now?
I kind of like it.
I know.
I'm supporting the country Post.
Did you see,
He's a good singer.
Zach Bryan brought Sexy Red? Or whatever?
I know.
On... Did you see that video,
I
Kel?
didn't see that.
Oh my gosh, we'll have to show you. Maybe we shouldn't put it on the podcast. She's just, like, twerking on the stage.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. To, like, his country song, and I was like, what is
Interesting.
happening?
Who is she? I don't even know who that is.
Like a
Sexy
rapper.
Red, you know, get it sexy.
Or doesn't she
No.
sing the ski? She sing that
Yeah,
one?
if you see me and you
Trying to see what's up. Brought her on stage.
All right. Respect
And I
Zach.
was like, she was twerking to a country song, and I was like, all right.
I think the nice part, and I don't know if it's good. I think this is probably some people debate on this, but I think country country one is becoming more popular, right?
Country.
I think country is starting to make a comeback. And whoa,
guys, I've hopped on the train.
There's a lot going on there. I know. Welcome to country. Country.
I've been in the car. I've been forced in the car too many times with Matt playing country.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, you won't listen to Tay Tay.
Dude, Taylor's just.
I hate Taylor.
My problem
I don't like
is,
her as a person, but I like her music.
I just think that she just can release whatever and everyone likes it. It doesn't matter what it is.
Well, there's some of her songs I don't like. Like I don't like her new song with Post Malone.
That's fair.
Fortnite.
I liked Daddy, I Love Him.
You only like that because it's called But Daddy, I Love Him.
No, I think it's...
No, that's literally the only reason why.
I think it's one of her better songs on the track.
I like Bad Blood.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
She had some good songs. Like, don't get me wrong, she has good songs.
That's a good
I
one.
think... Here's what I'll say.
The feature?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think you gotta respect her ability to grow her fan base, and the fact that what she's done is pretty incredible. Yeah, I mean, like...
Proud to be a part of that. Just
like,
kidding.
what she's done so far is pretty incredible, but...
Yeah.
But also, I just don't love her music. Like, it doesn't speak to me.
Yeah, she's definitely, like, changed over the years. Because
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, I like her old stuff. Which, like, I
Mm-hmm.
can see that. But lyrically, I think she's really good.
Yeah.
She's a good writer for sure.
Yeah, she is. But also, I'm like, how's she just, like, popping out all these songs? Like, I don't know how she's doing that.
I just don't like.
I don't know if she's writing all of them herself, though. Do you think she is?
I mean, she has a team that helps her.
I don't like how her fan base is like reads into every single lyric and every single song. They're like, oh my god,
That's a sign.
genius.
Yeah.
This plus this. I'm like, bro, what?
No,
Well, that's
there's
what
some lyrics I'm like, okay, that could have been done better.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying is I think she can put out whatever, and everyone's
I would
obsessed
agree
with
with that.
everything she does. And that's fine. Like, but I think it's one of those things where eventually you get to a point where you're so popular, like, it's almost unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's fine. She's done a great job, like, with her work. I mean, she started basically from nothing and moved it all the way up. So
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself, like, an
game,
obsessed
respect,
fan.
game.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't consider myself an obsessed fan because some of them are, like, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll, I don't know, do crazy things. But I just like her music. I don't like her as a person, though. She's kind of a little interesting. Psycho. I don't really listen to her that much anymore, though.
I wonder if that's because... I wonder when, like... You see this a lot with people who get that famous.
Like Hollywood got to them.
Yeah, Hollywood got to them, but I think you just, once again, your view on life is unrealistic. You know, because you don't live...
You get everything and anything you want.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like, if you're working for Taylor Swift or you're in her circle, if Taylor asks for it, you're going to, like, yes, Taylor,
Like
let me go grab that for you.
Anything for Tay-Tay.
Yeah, like, you can get whatever you want whenever you want it, you know, as fast as you can get it, right? And so I don't think as people in general, I don't think that's great for us.
Like to idolize them.
Not even idolize us. I think as a person, like as an individual, for Taylor in this case.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like that's not a good thing to have as an individual, you know, because it just bodes an unrealistic view of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she probably handled it better than most. You know, she
True.
seems more grounded than some people.
Yeah, like some people are selling their soul to the devil and
Yeah.
all this stuff.
Yeah,
Or like, hey, at least she's not handing out abortion pills at her concerts.
that's true.
Yeah.
Thought someone was paying for the.
It was after I paid for the ticket. Olivia Rodrigo. And she was handing out condoms.
That's one of those things. I think. Why are they getting involved in that?
And why is she, and all her fan base is like young teenage girls.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she like promoting like everyone have sex and then
Yeah.
get an abortion?
But that's just one of those political issues that, like, why bleed the lines, you know? Because that's the hard part now is there was a day when, you know, you're a musician, you do music. You're an athlete, you do athletics.
Yeah,
But now
stick to what you're good at.
everyone wants to, like, make their thing. If you have an audience, they feel like I have to, you know, speak for, you know, this cause because I have an audience and I can make a change.
Okay, if you're gonna have a platform and speak up about something, at least like speak up about the right thing.
Right.
Like at least have the right opinion. Don't be wrong.
Yeah, I feel like the abortion one's a crazy one.
I know, that made me so mad when I found that out. Because it was like a day before I went to her concert, and she's like, all right, a portion of my funds are going to supporting female reproductive rights and abortion. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
bruh, I feel scammed out of my money.
I just can't see how... The one I can't see is when people claim, like, how far they're willing to claim a baby's not a baby. You know? Like, 9 months in the womb, and they're still saying, oh, it's not out yet, so it's still...
Yeah,
know.
so the TikTok I sent you the other day you didn't watch.
My bad.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Just
Yeah.
kidding. It was like this dad, and he was like talking. Oh, the abortion thing.
Oh yeah, we're talking about abortions.
The TikTok you didn't watch.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I personally, I think there's just so many options for abortion. Like, not options for abortion, but options to do other than abortion.
Like adoption or...
Yeah, like, even if you don't want to have that kid or you don't want to deal with it, like, somebody will.
Yeah.
You know, why?
Like, it sucks they're in the foster system even then, but at least they're alive.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, at least you're not taking away the opportunity for life.
People just don't want to have to be responsible for the consequences of having, like, sex.
Mm.
Like, if you're gonna have sex and wear a condom or be responsible, you know?
Yeah, but I think that's a problem in life in general. You know, people, and maybe that's more of late, but I think it's probably been an issue for forever because like the problems we have now are not new. You know,
they're just like
they're different,
more
slightly maybe.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I
don't know the word
maybe
for
more
it.
complex.
Yeah.
Depending on the circumstance or the things we have, but.
More publicized.
Yeah, they're more
publicized.
brought into the light or whatever you could want to say.
Yeah, but I think, you know, people in general want to do things without having consequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's very much if you want to take a religious stab at it, you know, that's very much like evil, right? That's very much Satan's or the devil's plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make you think that you can do whatever and it's okay. And there's nothing to, like, worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, like, he's controlling you, you know, because he wants you to think that you can do whatever and not face consequences. So I think that's when it comes to abortion, I think you're right. It's like, it's not even just abortion in this case, but people want to feel like I can do whatever I want and there's never a consequence. But in reality, like, everything has a consequence.
Or they want to feel, like, validated in their choices.
What do you mean?
Like, especially now since abortion's such a huge thing, they're like, oh, it's okay because it's my body, my choice.
Oh, like turning to the community to validate pro-choices. Yeah.
Because they know it's wrong. They're like, well, everyone else thinks it's right. And so
they don't want to think for themselves. They don't have their own opinions. They want to feel validation from outside sources, I guess you could say.
Yeah. To, like, help them feel like what they did was okay.
Yeah. Because, you know, people always feel guilt after they have an abortion, and a lot of people regret it.
Really?
I mean, that's what I've watched interviews of people, or even, like, the whole...
They go into, like, a depressive state.
Yeah, and they just feel, like, a lot of guilt. And so when they see that, my body, my choice, or pro-choice...
Right.
It's like, okay, that makes me feel better about myself, because there's other people who are validating my actions.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing.
No, I think you're right. I mean, it's, like... And I think social media has just exacerbated that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about any choice, you think about, like, gender now, right? That there's not really any gender that doesn't exist, right? That's kind of the...
Makes me lose brain cells.
That's a common theme now that people, like, think.
Yeah.
But really, would that be a common thought process had, like, there not been social media or TikTok?
Because it's all, like, shoved in your face.
Right.
Well, because...
Well, I've even seen, like, I watched this interview of this...
Yeah, Kel, no input. You're not on mic.
I know.
Just sit there.
I watched this interview of this... I don't know if it was a guy or girl, but they went through, like, the transition surgeries, and then they were, like, being interviewed, and they're like, I regret it because I've lost years of my life. Like, I'm not healthy anymore, because they just shoved a bunch of hormones in their body, and it messed up all their, like, system regulation, stuff like that. Right. And so, like, yeah, they regret it.
One surgery, they have to go back in.
Mikkel,
yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, and so, like, it's, like, normalized.
Yeah.
They're encouraged in their view. And so they're like, oh, it's okay, and then later they regret it, and they're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's so many, like, well, my problem, too, is, like, when they're young. Like, trying to force it on young kids who don't really have the brain developed where they really even know what they want. They can be
easily molded.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, a 6-year-old, I mean, you see them playing it with, like, dolls or dressing up and things like that because they're with their friends and goofing around, and suddenly you get a parent who is like, oh, my kid wants to be a girl.
My kid likes dolls.
Yeah.
He's a girl now.
He must be a girl. Let's chop off his wiener, you know? Like,
turn it into a vagina.
yeah, let's turn into a vagina, which
A vagina.
is funny. A vagina. Let's turn into a vagina. But, what's funny, too, is, like, when that happens, once they do that, like, there's no going back. And also, the truth is, if they don't do that at a young age, right? I don't think they're doing the full
Well, there's an age. I think you have to be 18 or something.
Yeah.
In some state, I think it depends on the state.
I think in California, if you don't you don't have to have parental permission,
it would
even
be
if you're
California.
a teenager.
It
I
would
know,
be
right?
California.
If they don't let them, then they take them away from their parents.
Well, also there's like a lot of ethics that go into it, like whether like for minors being able to consent for like healthcare related things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of tricky in different states.
I think they're allowing too, where parents can, if a kid doesn't want their parents' permission or can't get their parents' permission, they can like flee to a state that allows it.
The states will pay for it too.
Right, and they'll flee to that state, and the state's like, okay, yeah, you're from Arizona. Well, that's okay. You can come here and get your.
Also, it's it's like a phase that kids will grow out of later.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, right? And that's the thing that's alarming is like the fact that they're indoctrinating young people to think that that's normal, and then you have everything else surrounding that.
Experience gender dysmorphia.
What?
You can't experience gender confusion because
It's not a real feeling or a thing.
Put in the wrong body.
Yeah, like you're a guy or a girl for a reason, you know.
No, explain that to me. So what are you?
Well,
not
like,
you, Kel. She'll explain it.
Oh, okay. Well, like you're meant to be a guy if God made you a guy.
Right.
Like you shouldn't.
Right.
Like that's literally against biology and God.
Well, I think what people, not that I agree with this, but I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit so you can explain. I think that, like they would say, well, how do you know God wanted me to be a guy or a girl? Like, how do you know I don't want to just be, like, I was born this, like I was born a girl, especially when they're a guy. And not to mention, especially when they claim, like, that there's some people who are born intersex.
Oh, yeah, with the, like, organs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that one's, like, the intersex thing's kind of tricky. Because you can be born with, like, ovaries, but then, like, have a penis, be a guy.
See, and then, like, a lot of times what they'll do in those situations is they'll decide which one for them.
Yeah.
Which then people get
That's
upset.
pretty rare, though.
You're right. It is really rare.
Yeah.
That's not a...
The thing is, too, is it is super rare, and also, like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit, but it is super rare, and also when you really look at it, lots of times when the doctors choose which reproductive system to keep, usually it's based off the health of that child, right? Because maybe they have a fully formed, like, not fully formed for a kid, but maybe they have, like, a penis, like, it's clear they're a boy, but then they do have, like, a part that's...
Like an ovary?
Yeah, like an ovary that's more fully formed than it should be. Well, because it's not fully formed, but the other one is intact, they'll choose that, like, this
That's
is...
tricky.
Yeah, it is. It is tricky. And luckily, it's the super, super, super minority.
Luckily, yeah. I don't know anyone who's had to deal with that.
No, me neither.
You've seen a Grey's Anatomy episode, but that's it.
And once again, these are like more minorities speaking about it. The minority that has that voice.
That's like low key the problem today. Is that all the minorities speak up, and the majority just like doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Kelly, you're not allowed to tune in.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Stop talking about good topics.
Oh, sorry.
Bro, we gotta get you featured on this podcast.
Yeah. No, and I think that's the one tricky part about these type of communities that are built online is it's very easy for the silent or the majority to, not that they couldn't put their voice out there, but they're not really dealing it, like they're just doing day-to-day life, right? And that silent minority is the one that's really speaking loud. Mm-hmm. But I think also a lot of it too is those groups that have the minorities, right? Whether it's the gay community, the lesbian community, the transgender community, the abortion community. You can call them what you want. You can call them cults too, whatever you want. Cults. Not saying that those are cults, but you can combine. But you can claim things are cults in a lot of senses,
yeah, you
right?
can.
Because it's a group of people
who believe the same thing.
That believe the same thing, or or move in the same direction. Usually cult has a stigma around it.
Yeah,
with
like a bad
stigma.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of cults that do weird stuff.
Like satanic cults.
Yeah. But I think people in general are eager to join communities because it gives them purpose. It gives them like a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And if you take it back to like ancient roots, like that's who we were. You know, we were these like hunter-gatherer communities. Like we were tribal. You know, that's why we have those kind of tribal instincts in us where we want to like support and defend our tribe, right? And so with that being said, I think in a world where there's so many like things and confusion and people are online all day and they're not doing things, they don't know who they are, they like can fall really easily into these...
They can be gaslighted.
Right. They can fall easily into these weird, different, unique communities where they feel accepted because that small community is accepting anyone who will believe what they think.
They're trying to get people, suck people in.
Mm-hmm. And so it's easy, right? You get some kid who's insecure, maybe doesn't have friends, doesn't know a lot about life, is really directionless, and maybe they're like, I don't know, 14, 15, 16, and a critical time in life where they are trying to figure out who they are, and maybe their parents aren't, necessarily doing the best job
or like
helping
part of
them.
their life.
Yeah, maybe their part of their life is kind of in a weird spot, but then they join this community and they start believing all these things about themselves.
Because they're being told that. Mm-hmm. Like being spoon-fed that information.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a unique, we're in a unique like societal situation where, I think the internet kind of changed the game for everybody.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. But.
Well, back then, people didn't even have the internet. So,
right.
Or like you'll see people like tribes in Africa getting interviewed, and they're like, "What's transgender?" Like they don't even know that's a thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you were only aware of the. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're only aware of the information around you, and so if you're aware of the information everywhere, then there's a lot more thoughts and opinions and ways of life that you're open to.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, just so everyone knows what she said. She said because there's so much more information around us and inputs coming in. Like if you lived in 70 years ago where there was not that, like life was more simple. Life was, wherever you were.
You only knew what you were around.
Right. You knew the community. You knew your people and whatever that entailed. And frankly, like in some ways that was not great because now we have lots more opportunities to learn and grow and figure things out. But in a lot of ways, too, almost too much information is not a good thing. And
half the time you look something up and it's wrong. It's
false. It's false information, right? It's people just putting their opinions out there that aren't true. Mm-hmm. So, navigating life, I think, has become, significantly more challenging.
That's why it's like people who, like we were talking about earlier, about how like I knew I want to be a nurse.
Right.
It's hard for people who like graduate and like high school and they're like, all right, so I don't know what to do now. Because then they feel lost. But then you're talking about like the community thing. If they find something, then they like turn to that for support. Yeah. Whether it's like a good support or like being indoctrinated.
So what do you think like people like what do you think people can do, young people specifically who are in this? And I ask you this because you obviously like know what you want to do.
Oh, I was saying I am a young person.
Right. Well, you are right. So that's one factor. But you're a young person who, has an idea.
Has
goals, right? Goals and an idea of what you're doing and something you're working towards. So what are you doing differently? But also, what can people do to figure that out?
Well, I think it helps how you were raised.
Sure.
Because like if you were raised in a conservative family.
Yeah.
Like me, that's how I have my standards and morals and like ideas because obviously I was raised that way. Mm-hmm. But then also like now that I like actually read stuff online, I have my own opinions, which they do a lot with my parents, but then I have my own opinion for myself. So I think that's a problem with today. People will just base their opinion off someone else's opinion and they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
And then they're just like, oh, I think this because I saw this on TikTok, but they don't actually do their own research. So I think that's a problem. Yeah.
I wonder why people are so desperate to push off the responsibility of decision on others.
I'm indecisive. I push it off on you all the time.
Yeah, but not even indecisive. But not even indecisive. That's true. I think part of it's people don't want to be wrong. But I don't think it's like indecisive on like just making choices. I would say the ability to choose like what you think and how you think and what direction you want to live your life. Like, I think a lot of people genuinely are scared to make those choices, which is fair, but they're very eager to pass that decision, that responsibility of decision to someone else. And I don't know why that is, because I think the alternative's so much worse.
Yeah, personally, I can't stand people who are uneducated in like a political sense. If you have differing opinions than me, that's fine. At least you have an opinion.
Right.
Like, I can't stand people who are like, oh, I don't care about politics. Like, bro, you live in this country. You can make a difference with your vote.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me mad. And like, especially because like I've had civil conversations with people who have differing opinions of me, but at least they have an opinion. At least they care. Right. You know. So I guess that's something that bothers me.
Yeah, I think it always helps if they have, you want to have like dialogue about it, communication. Mm-hmm. And that's the one hard part about now. I think it's really hard. You don't see a lot of like civil discussion anymore.
Yeah, people just shut each other down.
Right. They either shut each other down or, they throw emotions in the way. And I don't think communicating ever goes well when you have a ton of emotion. You have to be calm about it, be passionate about a topic, but emotional and passion is different, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but you don't see that a lot. A lot of people are just kind of letting their emotions drive their thoughts and their actions and their decisions. And I think you see a lot of promoting of that in like society, to let your just emotions kind of drive your direction.
I feel like we're very much now like a society where it's like, oh, let's talk about your emotions and how you feel. Because I feel like back then it was kind of not a shame to like you weren't supposed to be ashamed of. Actually, you were. I feel like back then you were like, if you thought or felt this way, you should be ashamed. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, what do you mean? Like in what way?
I'm trying to think of an example. Like
shamed for believing what?
I don't know. I just feel like back then emotions weren't talked about as much.
Oh, I see.
So if you like felt a certain way, you weren't supposed to talk about it and make it like make it your personality. Sure. But I feel like in today's sense, it's like, which not hating on people who have anxiety or depression. It's like they make that their whole personality.
Sure. Yeah.
So I feel like it's very much like encouraged to talk about it today, which can be good in a way. Like first step is like admitting it and talking to someone. Mm-hmm. But I think nowadays it's like, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like romanticized. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think the hard part is, I think you're right. We do see a lot of people making things.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, the tone's coming across well in this podcast. I think a lot of times there is people don't know who they are because they've become there's so many inputs coming in on a daily basis. It's hard to really cut through all of it and go, this is who I am. This is what I believe, right? Because there's so much input. So it's confusing. And when you have that much input, you're desperate because you can't progress if you don't have an idea of who you are.
And so, stuck.
Right, you're just stuck. And so when that happens, I think people are desperate to make anything their persona so they can identify with who they are.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, right. I think like even though anxiety and depression, is something people don't want, right? It's a mental illness. It's a disease, right? And that also has been exaggerated highly. Like some people like just generally, I think life has become so easy. Someone feels a twinge of anxiety or a twinge of sadness, and they think they have a disorder.
Honestly, sorry, go ahead.
No, and the truth is, it's like sadness and anxious feelings and stress, like those are all normal emotions that we feel on a daily basis. So maybe you have a chemical imbalance or something going on where you're having way more than you should. That's totally possible. But I think the majority of people are having regular emotions that they're supposed to feel, but they're being amplified by poor habits that they're unwilling to get rid of.
Yeah, well, I think everyone experiences like some sort of sadness or anxiety in their life. Yeah. But that doesn't mean, like, I get super anxious in social settings, but that doesn't mean I have anxiety. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't take medicine for that or like anything like that.
Right.
But then I think some people are like, oh, I'm super anxious, so let me go get some prescription meds to fix this. And then they just like label themselves as having an anxiety disorder.
What's sad is the hard part about that is that when people do that, once you make something your persona, your personality, that's like you're identifying that's who you are with it, then how can you change as a person?
I feel like you're gaslighting yourself, and I'm thinking you
right.
You have that.
you don't change.
It's hard.
You're like, oh, well, that's who I am.
Right. And now people start thinking that's who you are. This is your personality. And like maybe 10 years down the road, I think this goes back to what we've been talking a lot about tonight with, even young kids who think that maybe they're born a boy, but they think they're a woman, right? In that moment, maybe you think that, but give it time, give it 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, I don't know. Give it some time. You probably aren't going to think that same way. You're going to grow up. You're going to change. Your life's going to affect you in different ways. And if you make it so tightly, closely tied to your personality, how do you ever grow and become whoever you need to be? Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of like those people who make being insecure their personality.
Right.
I feel like those people are kind of hard to be around because they're always like picking on themselves or like finding something wrong with themselves, and they're just like either fishing for compliments or it's like give yourself some credit.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, they're also, I think they try to, a lot of times I think they try to
go, girl.
They try to pick on you too to bring you down to their level.
Yeah.
Which can be hard.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. This probably is not a good thing. I was talking to somebody earlier about this as well, and yeah, and I was talking to them about when people. Sorry, when people do that.
You good there?
Yeah, I pulled my back earlier, and so.
Not having back problems.
I know. It was the saddest thing too. I was just doing.
You're like an old man.
Just doing chores around the house, and I reached weird and pulled it. But it was from an earlier injury. So, anyways,
from 5 years back.
Yeah. He's no longer in his prime.
Nah. When you age like I, no, I'm just kidding. But I remember, in this conversation, I was talking about how this individual was mentioning how they have some people around them who are trying to bring them down on a regular basis, mm-hmm. or make fun of them for their beliefs, or make fun of them for, frankly, knowing who they are, right? Knowing what they stand for, and having even if they don't have to agree on the same thing. Like, I may not do the same thing you do, but kudos to you for having, these are my beliefs. This is what, I'm disciplined. I'm choosing to follow these steps, right? That within itself is an accomplishment. Hopefully they're good things, right?
Yeah.
But because some people are stuck on their morals where it's bad, right? And that's not good either. But kudos to that person. But in this environment, this person was saying how they're kind of being torn down for having those beliefs not being the same as the group.
I hate that. And
the group kind of having habits where they're not really progressing as individuals. And I told that person, I said, the truth is when insecure people who know they have bad habits or know that they're not progressing see someone who is, they oftentimes try to tear them down.
Because they're jealous.
Or truthfully, whether it's jealousy or not, you feed their insecurity because they see you and they see what they want to be and know that they're not. And not that they couldn't be, but they've not chosen to try to be that.
Yeah, or they'll make it seem like your fault.
Right, or your fault.
Mm-hmm.
And so that can be hard because as an individual, you want people to like you. You want to feel like you're a part of the team, right? And the hard part, too, is as someone who is secure, you don't think that you're like, what am I doing wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why does this person, I'm just being me.
Yeah.
And frankly, to that person who is insecure in that situation or finds you as their insecurity, that's even more irritating because they're like, oh, wow, you're not even trying to fake it. That's just who you are. Because some people try to push off this vibe or this look that they're something they're not.
They're super secure.
Yeah. And so that could be, so what I told this person, I said, the truth is the best thing you could do is keep being you, be unbothered by their.
Stay unbothered.
Yeah, stay unbothered by their insecurities. And frankly, almost let their desire to pull you down become your motivation to continue progressing.
Just don't be like, I'm literally him.
Yeah,
that's a Nick.
Yeah, don't become overconfident or things like that. But let it be a sign to you that you're on the right path and you're making strides, progressing, because people are looking to you and seeing their insecurities in you because they see a version of themselves that they wish they were.
Yeah, I never understood the whole tearing people down about their beliefs. As long as you have good morals and standards and you're disciplined, I don't care what you believe.
Yeah.
We'll be civil. I'll respect you.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just don't like when people tear you down for having a different belief
viewpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. We're all trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, we all have different beliefs and different things.
Well, let's just be civil.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just have good morals and standards.
Right.
I'll like you.
Yeah.
Maybe. Just kidding.
I think more often than not, we as people have way more in common than we have in different.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's trying to convince us that we have tons in difference, or tons of things different from each other, and reasons to dislike each other.
They want to segregate us.
Oh.
They want us to be maybe segregate's not the best word.
Yeah.
They want us to be separated as people.
Yeah.
No.
Not united.
Mm-hmm. Because if you're separated, you're weaker, right?
Yeah.
As
Wait,
a
what's
person.
the strength and unity?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I think that's not it.
I think you're right.
Strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers.
Thanks, Kel. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that's one thing that's hard with people. But back to what we were talking about with you and like what people can do. Like, so I know you mentioned, you know, obviously, like knowing
Sorry.
who, like kind of not getting confused by the crowd. But what else can people do? Like, what else can you do to really? Or you mentioned how like your upbringing has helped
Yeah.
a lot with you kind of knowing like what I want to do and sticking to something and picking it and moving forward. But like, what else? Like, is there other things that has helped?
I think having like a support, like my family and like my friends, because obviously it's hard to do things alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if, I mean, like, obviously God's like a support too, but it's also hard not to have like your family supporting you, your friends, or even if you grow up in a like difficult household and you know, see that like going to school isn't something that's like pushed or like encouraged, or even if like you see your parents having a difficult marriage and you kind of have that idea of like what marriage is supposed to be in your head, but then that's not like what it is in real life.
Yeah.
So I think support's a huge thing too.
Yeah. Support system.
Support
Backing
system.
them up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the quote? It's like, you know, you can get places faster as one. Or no, the quote is,
I don't know.
if you want to get somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to get somewhere far, go together.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And so I think that's like a really true principle, because like not everyone has the same skill set. Not everyone has the same abilities. Not everyone has all the knowledge. Like it's unity and working together and figuring things out. And frankly, like, you're going to have times as a person where like you get unmotivated or you get discouraged.
Yeah.
Or you see like, man, I just can't get through this like challenge right now. I can't get through this hardship. Like, it's too much. And that's when having the other people who also can see the vision or can support you in the vision and can say like, no, you got this. You can make it through this challenge. That's when it becomes super valuable, because like maybe they're not struggling in that moment. And I've seen so many times like working in a team, my nose is so itchy. Apologize. People on the camera are going to be like, why does he keep grabbing his nose? I think so often it's like, I've seen so many times in projects that are hard or difficult things that maybe you're trying to start something new or it's a new part of your chapter of your life. Mm-hmm. I've seen so many times where one person on the team gets discouraged, but the others are still like, they have that vision of that vision of what can be accomplished, and they help that person get back on board. And then a few days later, the person who was helping the other day kind of loses it, and the other people jump in and they help support that person. And so I think that's where the teamwork makes the dream work.
Makes the dream work.
Yeah,
you're right.
But yeah, I don't know. I think, just in like all the conversations we've had, I think that's the biggest. That's the biggest thing I think we can take away is like,
stay unbothered and teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, we're in this together, right? And even if you disagree on certain beliefs, like, we're all people. And if you're religious, like, we're all people on God's planet, trying to get back to
all children of God.
All children of God. And if people can realize that, like, we're gonna be way better off. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if your thoughts on that, but
like, thoughts on...
Yeah.
Like,
I think you have the same thoughts on
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Wait, thoughts on, like, being, like children of God, like, working together, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like...
No, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like people will look down on others, and it's like, bro, we're all the same. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, no one's better than anyone else.
Right.
So...
Yeah, there's a phrase I heard, it was like, someone said to me, because especially in, like, religion, sometimes we can hear about someone else's mistakes and look down
Mm-hmm.
on them. And someone pointed out to me, they're like, Matt, you know what? We're all sinners in the pews. Doesn't matter who you are. And that
Yeah.
just struck me because sometimes we look at, I was talking to someone about our religion specifically, like being members of the church, Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints. And I think sometimes the church gets a bad rap for being
Okay, go.
Okay. Oh, we're still recording. For being judgmental, or the people having that
That's
culture.
not the church.
No, like the doctrine's not the way, but the
Yeah.
culture of the church, like people,
Yeah.
people in general being judgmental.
Those Utah people.
Right. And I think people get upset
Those
because
Utah moms.
those Utah moms. Yeah, like Utah gets a terrible rap for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just because there's such a, they're all condensed in one area.
Yeah. They try to compete with each other.
Right. And the truth is like, I think that's a cultural problem. That's a people problem of
Yeah.
thinking, like trying to gauge one versus the other. And the truth is, it's like whether you, whether you made one sin or another sin, like sin is sin.
Everyone sinned.
Right.
No one's perfect.
Mistakes are mistakes, and like we all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just got to accept that and realize like we're all a bunch of sinners in the pew trying to find our way in this world of problems.
There's something that Mom always said that I liked.
What? What's
was,
the phrase? What's the phrase, Kels, that tell us, then I can say it again.
Okay. It was that if we all looked at each other's problems, we would all just, if everyone threw their problems in the middle, we would all just go back and pick up our own problems again, because we're all, like, you know how people are like, oh, their life's not as bad as mine.
Right.
Or like we'd all.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, yeah, no, I think that's true. Like, right, if you could see everybody else's problems, you'd realize and just want to keep your own. Because,
Maybe.
yeah.
Because God gave us our problems because he knew that we could handle them.
Yeah,
Right.
God's not gonna give us something we can't handle.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, I think that's really the message to walk away from,
Yep.
Keep fighting, keep going,
Stay unbothered.
be united, be unbothered. And
No, stay unbothered.
Stay unbothered.
Yeah.
And teamwork makes the dream work. Is that the other one?
Yeah.
And always get a sweet treat.
And always get a sweet treat.
Okay. Well, we've been going for about 2 hours now, so
That's
I
crazy.
think we kind of nailed it on.
I conquered my fear.
Conquered your
I
fear.
was so scared.
Came on the pod.
Only for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Rate it 1 out of 10.
Yeah, but
Me?
your performance, yeah. No, I'm just kidding. The podcast in general.
It was fun. So 10.
10? Good.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 rating.
You're not just saying
5-star
that.
review.
Shh. Just kidding.
All right. Well, Jules, I appreciate you being on and coming on and conquering your fear on the pod. So we'll run it back eventually at some point.
Well, part 2.
Part 2,
Okay.
maybe.
No, should be Mike.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
maybe,
get Kel.
maybe
on
we'll
here,
mic
too.
Kel for real.
Me and Kel will be interrogated together.
That'll be a good one. Might be too much for us to handle, but we'll try.
Yeah, we'll just be dropping facts.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.